Hey everybody, it's Dave and Olive. Thanks for joining us here today at Book Blather. We talk a lot of fantasy, sci-fi, horror, graphic novels, but we mix it up with a lot of other fiction, non-fiction as well. Today we're going to be doing a disturbing summer book wrap-up. Okay, so our summer schedule got all messed up. We read a bunch of books these last couple months, and we're not even sure really what we ended when. And we didn't do a July wrap up, and now it's the end of October. So we just figured what we do is the first few books we had read in July were actually we just happened to read a sequence of really short, disturbing books, one right after another. So we figured we'd do a quick disturbing book wrap up, and then we'll just do the other stuff in the August wrap up, like right after this one. So. Let's get started. And this is a book that we already talked about. This is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke by LaRocca. I won't say much about this book except just one quick sentence, is that this book is it's set in about 2000 when internet communication was really just chat rooms and email and things like that. And so this is set in that environment, and two women meet online and develop a slave-master relationship, and things go very badly. So we did a whole nother video on this pretty controversial book, and I'll link that other video below if you want to watch that one. But I did talk about at the time about doing a potential spoiler live stream discussion of this book, and a copy of this book was circling around BookTube. A number of people had mentioned that they were interested in that, if you are, just leave a comment in the comments below, and maybe I'll actually go ahead and set up a live stream so a number of us can discuss this book next month, because I know there was a number of different opinions about it. Okay, now the next disturbing book that we read was Dead Inside by Chandler Morrison. Now this book has been getting a lot of hate on YouTube, pretty much unanimously. I think some people have liked it, but this book is really, really extreme. Now, essentially what this book is about is there is a security guard at a hospital that likes a very unusual type of woman. And he meets a doctor that works at this hospital, and she has a very unusual appetite. And so when I was hearing some people talk about this book, it was like everything is in this book. Like this is like, and this book is so repugnant. There's nothing worth reading in this book. The first thing I should say is that, some people in the process of hating on this book has said like that's written horribly. I don't think that's fair. The book I thought was written well. I mean, Chandler, in terms of writing quality, Chandler Morrison knows how to write, and I might actually seek out some of his other stuff if it's not, subject matter is not like this. But in terms of the content of the book itself, people were just saying that it was like the most extreme of the extreme, and that it was so repugnant, and that they wish they hadn't read it and things like that. But when I hear people say things like that, I always wonder, come on, it's a book, and I mean, was it really that really difficult to read, or people just feel compelled to say that so that people don't think that they would be interested in that type of material. I was pretty sure, I was like, if you're telling me it's got the worst of the worst things in it, I think I can picture what those are, and it's just a book. I think I can handle it. I never could have imagined what would be in this book. I thought I knew what the worst of the worst things could be. I did not. If you told me to think about the worst possible scenarios that I could imagine, never in a million years would I have come up with some of the scenes in this book. That's probably just going to make people want to read it more. But This was crazy, this book. And there were actually, I never thought that I would say this about a book, but there were actually a couple of spots where I felt like I wanted to put it down. And, you know, I wanted to see what happened in the book, but it also didn't want to keep reading these couple scenes. And I was really surprised by that. So, you know, if this book might be for some people, you know, I really do have to say it wasn't for me. But there might, if you are into that sort of really, really extreme thing, then you would probably like it, because I do think that in terms of quality, like I said, it's well written. And, you know, I would say I guess there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I was watching a BookTube video recently by Alex over at the Bookubus, and she made a comment once. Well, she wasn't talking about this book, but she was talking about a different book with a lot of gore. And she was commenting on this propensity that a lot of people have for saying with some extreme books that, oh, it's just gore for gore's sake. And she said, you know, what's wrong with that? You know, why do people say that like it's a bad thing? You know, you never hear anybody, if you have an atmospheric book, you never hear anybody say, oh, it was just atmosphere for atmosphere's sake. And so this is really gore. This is kind of just like extremeness. But if you like, you know, books like extreme for extremeness sake, then, you know, you might enjoy this one. I didn't really find too much else in this book. I mean, there was sort of a very underlying theme, I guess, of two people that have such unusual proclivities that they can't really relate to others, and that but maybe they can relate to each other, and, you know, when they find each other, but they really don't. And so kind of how the story progressed and the way it ended was kind of shocking. And so I don't really think there was anything else to this book unless I missed it other than the extremeness. But for those that, again, that like that kind of book, this would probably be your cup of tea. And then the third and final extreme story that we read in this sequence of stories was actually not really a novel, not really a novella even. I guess more of a short story. But this was you can only get this digitally. It's called Abed by Elizabeth Massie or Elizabeth Macy. And I had actually heard about this on somebody's live stream. I don't remember whose, but. This story, you can go get it on Amazon on a Kindle, or you can go to, it's by Crossroads Digital Press, I think is the name. You can go there and get it. You can get it a couple different places. 99 cents for a digital copy, and I think it's worth reading, just because it's so unusual. What this story was about was a zombie apocalypse story, basically, but it wasn't. This was not your traditional zombie story. This was after a zombie apocalypse has happened, and it's about a woman who is living in a room in her mother-in-law's house, and just the two of them, and it's not your. This is not like any zombie story I think that you've ever read before. Certainly not like any zombie story that I've ever read before. Her mother-in-law has a particular mission in this new world that they're in, and this her daughter-in-law is part of this mission. And I can't really say anything more than that because it's so short, but I definitely think it's worth the read if you're into this sort of bizarre, strange thing. Okay, that's everything. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you get notified the next time Holler says it's okay for us to upload another video. We'll see you soon with our August wrap-up, but in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.